All right. Hey, it's me again. This week, instead of doing another episode of From the Ground Up series, I made the decision to talk about something I feel is much more important and much more topical as well. So the EU made some new laws around explosive materials, and nitromethane is one of those. This means that from 2nd of February in 2021, no one can own any fluids containing nitromethane in over 16% in mass, and that means RC fuel too. You need a license to own it. You can apply for a license, but no one really knows how that works. There's already been a lot of discussion about this on social media, especially French communities have talked about this a lot, but there seems to be a weird misconception that the fuel we are allowed to use is 16%, which would be the same as what nitro on-road uses. This is not actually true. The EU law states that we can only run 16% in mass of any fluid containing nitromethane. Well, our fuels, the percentage of nitromethane is actually in volume. So pretty much from now on, we have to use fuels that have only 12% nitro in it. 12! Like imagine, we're using 25 now, 12. That's like less than a half of that. Most people don't really know what this does. I've seen some people run accidentally 16% fuel in the nitro engines, and mostly just makes the tune really bad and has less power. But let's actually read something that a fuel manufacturer said to EFRA when they were asked about what does this change actually do. Okay, so here we have it. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm just gonna read, in my opinion, what's the most important part, which is this one. So look at this. The truth is that switching suddenly to a 16% is complicated. We already saw what happened with the IC track, which means track nitro, but going to 12 can cause breakdowns everywhere, having to buy a new engine designed for that type of nitromethane content. So what he is saying here means that if we go to 16, we can kind of make it out. We can use the same engines, just the tuning will be different, and it's gonna make things more difficult. But going to 12 is pretty much impossible. We would need to have new engines and new everything. Now, okay, is nitro dead in Europe? Well, maybe not, because we can still apply for a license to own the fuel, and it still hasn't been stated that what you need to do to get the license. It could be very easy, that you need to just apply and you get it easily, or it could be very difficult and you really can't get it. It really depends on how applying for this license will be to how nitro classes will do in Europe. Or then we'll just switch to another substance. I think Maxima already made a non-nitro based fuel way back, like in 2015 or something. This is sort of a very complicated situation because of the fact that we sort of knew this was coming. We knew that at some point in history dangerous or harmful materials will be banned. Like until the end of time we can't just use harmful or dangerous materials. And already I think in 2013 the EU already made the regulations much stricter than they were before that. So this new law shouldn't be catching anybody off guard. This is just how the world works. We need to develop new things and move forward. I wouldn't be surprised if in 10 years having nitro at all would be illegal. Now, after all of this, I don't think the EU law is in any way out of line or weird. Like, this is just how the world works. Like 40 years ago, some other substance got banned because it was harmful or dangerous. Now it's nitro. Development keeps going on, and the humanity somehow needs to find like less harmful and better ways of going forward. I don't think we should blame EU for killing nitro racing, but it's just sort of that RC racing, and especially nitro racing, is very prone to stuff like this. It has these downsides that in other ways are the things why it's so great. now let's get back to sort of the title of the video. Will nitro racing go extinct? And if the answer is yes, well, what's gonna replace it? Or is there anything to replace it? The obvious answer to this is it would be 8-scale electric. Well, being honest, I'm not a huge fan, but now thinking of the world and how the world progresses, it's sort of a no-brainer that in 10 years most likely we won't have nitro racing and we will only have to do with electric racing. The battery technology is already super good. We can almost run 20-minute races already with our 8-scale electric buggies, and thinking like 5 years, 10 years of battery development, especially now that electric full-scale cars are catching on. To me, this seems like a no-brainer. Like, nitro is gonna die. I'm sorry, this video is gonna be super depressing for me especially because I'm a huge fan of nitro, but for everyone who is a fan of nitro as well. Nitro is gonna die. This is the first step of it, and this is just the beginning, believe me. But okay, let's get back to the electric thing. So how do we make e-buggy as good of a class as nitro buggy is now? I think the battery technology is one way so we can run longer mains, but even now I think it'd be pretty easy to make cars that you can swap the batteries pretty fast, meaning that we could have pit stops in electric and run even hour-long mains, because you can always send less power or more fans in a car to cool down your electronics. The battery life is the biggest problem. Now, as I said already, nitro is amazing. I love it. Most of you guys probably love it as well. And that's what brings me to my last point, that even though if the battery technology develops, even if we make the car so that you can switch the batteries, have longer mains, the cars aren't as fun to drive. This is just a fact. Like, they just aren't as fun to drive. Nitro cars are much more fun to drive. You have the nitro sound, you have the clutch, you have all that. Electric buggies just, they're not as fun. And this will be the biggest hurdle on our way when in the next 10 years we'll go towards electric racing from nitro. Alright, so let's conclude this. I'm pretty sure this was very hard to follow. I was sort of kind of bouncing around different topics, but just to conclude everything, I don't think this new EU law will kill nitro racing, but I think this is sort of the first chapter of the death of nitro racing. It sort of shows us that just one law and it could all be done. I don't think this law is it, but 5 years from now or 10 years from now, who knows? And we really should take this as a sign of, oh shit, we actually need to do something. The two ways to combat this issue would be to improve 8-scale electric racing, so that we have much more exciting races, the cars will be much better, and all that. Or, this is the one I really hope would be true, we could be able to create fuels that are biodegradable and that are cheap enough, and those that are not explosive. So pretty much a fuel that is renewable and functional and cheap. This would be a big hurdle, and also I think the engines would have to change, but I'm really wishing for this to be the case. I wouldn't want electric 8-scale to be the top class of 8-scale off-road, but being honest, to me right now it does seem like that could very well be the case in a few years. This sort of video's point was to just open a discussion, since this is sort of people being maybe say something about this, and also I think the biggest misconception now is that 16% fuel is allowed, which couldn't be further from the truth. The truth is we could have 12% nitro, because our nitro is measured in the volume of nitro. As I read for you before, the part what the manufacturer said, but going to 12 can cause breakdowns everywhere, having to buy new engine designed for that type of nitromethane content. That 12% range right there doesn't seem too promising, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. For Americans, this video might seem completely weird and like pointless, because for you guys nitro isn't banned or even regulated in any way, but in a few years this might very well come to there as well. Let me know what you guys think. That's just my views about this, but yeah, with all that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, until next time. Alright, I hope you liked that video. If indeed I did actually help you out, please let me know by writing a comment down below. Also, if you like my type of content, feel free to like my Facebook page as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also share it with your friends in social media. Now, if you think I was wrong about something in this video, please let me know. I'll go through all the comments, and I'm really open to differing opinions, and I really want to just spark up a conversation. So with all that, until next time.